Hi guys. So I'm looking at problem 3 in your notes. So we looked at the first two problems and now we're continuing to solve the rest of the problems. So here you're given 5z squared plus 19z minus 4. So a is 5, b is 19, and c is negative 4. So please remember to use the sign along with that. So let's start. We need to find two numbers whose product is going to be 5 times negative 4, which is negative 20, and whose sum is 19. So product is negative 20 and sum is 19. Now since the product is a negative and sum is positive, so one number has to be negative. So are there numbers like that? Yes. So the two numbers are, you guessed it right, which is 20 and negative 1, because 1 has to be negative. So now what do? You rewrite the first expression. So 5z squared plus 20z minus z. So this time I'm not writing the negative 1, just for you to make sure you get used to this, and then minus 4. So you understand what did I do here? I split the 19. So I rewrite 19. And now what do we do next? We are going to group the first two terms and the last two terms along with the sign. All right? So the first two terms, the common factors, so 5 and 20, and z squared and z, the common factor is 5z. That'll leave you with z plus 4, right? So when you factor out a 5z, you end up getting a z over here, and then from this term you get a 4. Then over here, negative z and minus 4. So if it was a regular z and 4, the common factor is 1. But now both are a negative, therefore the common factor is going to be negative 1. So I hope you understand that. If it's both are positive, it's easy. But if it's both are negative, it's still easy, but then remember to use the sign. So that will leave you with z plus 4. So watch the sign again, because it's a negative. When you distribute it, you should get back that negative 4. So if this is confusing, pause and then go back and watch again. Now, so what did I do in this step? I factored out. So factor out the GCF. Factor, and before I did that, I group and factor, correct. So now you notice that both these terms are z plus 4 and z plus 4. Again, it's a reminder that if these two are the same, you're right, you're on the right track. So now you factor out the z plus 4. So when the z plus 4 is gone, you're left with 5z and then minus 1. And there you go. All right, so that's how you're going to end up solving. If you see the steps are all pretty straightforward, just the signs is where people might tend to mess up. All right, so let's go to the next one. So we can try to do it. So here you have 6t squared plus 7t minus 5. So two numbers. So let's identify. That's A, this is B, and C. So C is negative 5. So you need to find two numbers whose product is 6 times negative 5, which is negative 30, and whose sum is going to be 7. All right, do we have numbers like that? Negative 30 and 7. Yes. So the numbers, I hope you have guessed it. The numbers are 10 and negative 3. All right, so there you go. So that's my first step, identifying the numbers. Next step, you rewrite this 6t squared plus 10t minus 3t minus 5. Now, if you notice, I've written the 10 here and negative 3 here. It doesn't matter, as I told you what the order is, but I'm showing you just to see if it's not in the same one, same, like if you're not able to find the factors, how would we go about doing it? Okay, so let's go. So what did we do here? We rewrote the 7t, the middle term. Next is to group and factor. So you group the first two and the last two terms. So when we group the first two, 6t squared plus 10t, what is the common factor for 6t squared and 10t? So 6 and 10, you would get 2 to be a common factor. T squared and t, you get t. So that'll be 3t plus 5. So this is what I was saying. If you're not able to find a common factor, then what you would do, you would end up finding whichever number goes into these two, right? Now, next, minus 3 and 5, the only common factor is -1. So again, this is a problem where both are negative, so you need to make sure you pull out a -1. So the two, what did we do here? We group and factor. And then next, so since 3t plus 5 and 3t plus 5, these two are the same. So we factor that out. You'll end up getting 3t plus 5 times. So when I pull out a 3t plus 5 here, you're left with 2t minus 1. And that's the common factor for these two. I hope you were able to understand it. If not, go back and watch again.